Well, if you can find a pen and pencil, it's time to take notes. It's The Real Estate Show. Welcome to The Real Estate Show. My name is Rick Naples. I am the owner-broker of Zone Realty LLC. You zone your home. On today's show, I want to talk about processes and procedures and what could be misunderstood advertising. Now, let me explain. Because of everything we've been through in the real estate market and everything that we've seen, there are agencies that are out there that are looking on ways to enhance or increase their business by putting ads on that may be a little bit, not misleading, but maybe misunderstood. In other words, they're taking cold hard facts and twisting them or turning them so that they favor what they're offering. The basic thing here is it's just a new twist on the same thing. Real estate has not changed, and I don't think it's going to change. There is a certain way in doing the real estate transaction that has been developed over 100 years of processes and trials and errors and legal examinations and so on and so forth. And it's the way the business is done. Now, there's two sides of the business. There's the real estate transaction, which is all the forms and the documents and the procedures and the policies and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the marketing of the real estate. And sometimes realtors have to be really creative when it comes to marketing a property for sale. But you have to be very careful because there are rules and regulations in advertising that a realtor has to follow and adhere to, so they cannot be accused of false advertising. Now let's talk about policies and procedures. Basically, the steps are the same when you're going to do a real estate transaction. If you're a buyer and you're looking to go into the market to buy a house, you're going to follow several documented steps. In other words, first, you're going to start to look, right? You're going to go on the internet and you're going to take a look at houses that are listed for sale and price ranges and features and areas and all those different things because you're going to explore possibilities. And then when you kind of narrow it down to the kinds of houses and areas that you like and the price ranges that you think might fit, now you've got to find out if you can afford to purchase a house like that. And that is the mortgage procedure. Now, usually it starts with a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter, which means you contact a mortgage agency or a bank or a lender of some sort, and you go through all the different questions and analyzations that are required of income and debt and so on and so forth to be qualified for a certain amount of dollars that lending institution believes you can afford or will support a mortgage that you can afford to purchase a home. Once you've gotten that letter, you're then going to go hire a realtor. Now, why hire a realtor? Well, first of all, realtors are in the real estate business, and obviously they're going to have the contacts to find the homes that you might be looking for. They're also going to have access to the multiple listing service, and that's something that realtors use to see what houses are out there, as well as other ways of finding homes that are up for sale, whether they might be government foreclosures or private sales or so on and so forth. But they have access to the widest pool of houses, and with inventories being so low lately, that's really important. Once you've done that and you've figured out what realtor or agency you're going to work with and you now have a pre-qualification in hand, you're then going to go out and start to look at homes. You'll look at houses, you'll view the houses, you'll make your wants and needs list, you'll make all those different decisions of what you like, what you don't like, will this fit, will the area good, and all those multiple decisions, and then you'll make an offer. The realtor will put together the offer on a purchase and sales contract that has been designed legally to express what you're offering and all the things that go with it and what you want from the seller. The seller will then review that offer, maybe accept that offer, and now you have a deal. But the transaction is not completed yet. Now you have to, once you've negotiated that price and agreed to what the house is going to sell for, now if you're financing, you have to go through the mortgage process and all the different steps that are required to do that. Whether it's assembling paycheck stubs or bank statements, putting together your credit card debts, car loan debts, student loan debts, whatever might be out there. All that has to now be looked at as hard numbers to make sure that the original pre-qualification or pre-approval will match now the price of the house that you're offering to buy. Once all that's done and all that's accepted, now you have to go through a home inspection. I like to recommend here on the Real Estate Show that a home inspection is a key part of the whole process of purchasing a home. Now, there are some investors out there that will not deal with home inspections. They're experts in flipping houses, building houses, and knowing what houses need, so they feel they don't have to hire a separate inspector. But a lot of us out there, when we're buying a home, especially for the first time, we want to have a professional that's up to date on all the codes and regulations, go through the house and tell us what is it we're actually buying. So it's very important to look at that. You also want to hire an attorney. Why? Well, there's a lot of legal paperwork that's involved when you're buying a property. Whether it's one person buying a property from another or whether you're buying it from what we call an entity. In other words, there's no owner of the house, it's a foreclosure, maybe a bank has it, so on and so forth. You need to have an attorney to go through all that paperwork. And once you've gotten through all that and everything is put in place, now the loan has to be approved. So there's going to be an appraisal. Appraisals are important whether you're buying for cash or whether you're buying to finance. You want to make sure what you're buying is worth what you're going to pay for it. Now, I say that with a smile because recently, within the last year and a half, because of the COVID crisis and the challenges and the low inventories, we saw people going out there bidding monies far over what the sellers were asking. And we saw an inflation of home prices in the market. Will that come down? Well, we'll wait to see. Once all that is said and done, and the appraisal, and the attorney, and the home inspection, and the purchase and sale contracts put together, you're then going to do a final inspection of the property to make sure that everything's been agreed on is there. Simple little things. The house includes the washer and dryer. The house includes this. It includes that. You want to make sure those things that were included in the sale are still there. And then you'll go to the closing. When you're sitting at the closing, that's when you go through the paperwork, that's when money's exchanged hands, and finally you get the keys to the property. Now, what I've just described, folks, that has been the way it's been done for years, and that's the way it will continue to be done. Whether or not someone will be able to reinvent the wheel and do it a different way, well, we have to see. I always advise caution when anyone is promoting an idea of doing real estate outside of the traditional way of doing real estate, because there could be a concern where some steps could be skipped, putting you at a liability or risk for a future loss. Let's take a look at this presentation. We'll be back to talk some more about taking notes. I've been in this business 20 years now, and I've seen all kinds of different, well, for lack of better words, I'm going to say gimmicks or ideas or strategies of way realtors will advertise to get themselves more business. Because let's face it, folks, real estate for a realtor is a business. This is why you have to look at the whole picture when you're looking to hire a realtor. Now let's talk about commissions. You know, what do realtors earn? How are they paid? When do they earn it? You know, is it negotiable? Well, there's no secret. Here in our state, the state of Connecticut, commissions are negotiable. So if a realtor comes out and does a presentation and you decide you like this realtor, you like this agency, and you want to go with that firm to list your home, the percentage of the sales price that they're going to charge for commission is negotiable. Now, I've seen agencies spin that amount. In other words, they'll say, we list for lower than anyone else, or we list for a flat rate, or we'll do a 1% listing, or we do a 3% listing, or whatever. Make sure that if you decide to kind of entertain those, you look at the whole picture. Because most realtors, they're in business for themselves, and they can't afford, because of the way commissions are split with the agencies they work for, to go too low on the amount of dollars. The way to relate it is you go to work every day, you do your job, you get paid a salary or you get paid an hourly rate. This is what you expect, this is what you base your living on, this is how you pay your rent, your mortgage, whatever it might be, your groceries, your gas, and so on and so forth. If your boss came to you and said, I'm going to cut your salary by half and expect you to do the same work, would that be possible for you to do? Maybe not. If the boss came to you and said, I've decided that I want you to work several hours more than what you normally work, and I'm not going to pay you any overtime, and I want you to do it for half of the price that you normally work for, would you be happy? I don't know. Realtors have expenses that they have to follow. So when you see these low rates out there, these low percentages, it may mean that the listing firm, who all they do is just put the house on the market and basically sit back and wait for another realtor to find a buyer, will work for that amount of money. But the other realtor that's bringing in the ready, willing, and able buyer, they have to work for a certain percentage in order to make the deal happen, in order to pay themselves as well as the real estate agency that's providing all the tools they need to get the house sold. So don't be fooled by these low commission rates that are out there. You want to kind of look and peel back the covers and see what those are all about. We also see agencies out there capitalizing on their successes. Success is a wonderful thing. I've been in business, as I said, 20 years. I've had a lot of successes. I've sold a lot of homes. Some homes I've sold very quickly. Other homes, unfortunately, because of challenges, have taken a longer time to sell. If I wanted to, I could go out there and take the average amount of time, spice it up a little bit, and say, I can sell your home in XYZ amount of days, and I can get you over your asking prices, and I can get you, and I can do, and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff to get you excited to maybe list with me. Or I may say, I've sold hundreds of houses, or I have access to thousands of houses, or I can find the house that you're looking for. All different ways of spinning the reality of the transaction that's going to happen. So you want to look at all that. You want to ask a realtor for documentation. Now, it's here at this point, I have to tread very softly because I want to talk about testimonials. A lot of businesses will use testimonials. You've seen them. You go on the internet, you read reviews, you read comments that are made by clients that have done business with that particular individual or that firm. And have you noticed how all of them are positive? You very rarely see negative comments. Well, again, this is the spin. If I were going to advertise myself to convince you to do business with me, I would put down all the positive things that I've done. I wouldn't tell you about my failures. I wouldn't tell you about the things I weren't successful for. I wouldn't admit the things that maybe I've done incorrectly. I would tell you all the positive things. So you want to do your research. Whenever you're picking anyone to do business with, you always want to make sure that you know who the individual is. Now, the final comment I'm going to say about that is if you have a recommendation from a friend or a relative that's used that business or firm or realtor and can give you advice as to how they do, all the means, all the better. It's better than just general testimonials. Let's take a look at this presentation and I'll be back with some final comments on my thoughts. Just a quick word about unexpected things that may come up during a transaction. No one can predict how a transaction is going to go through. No one can make a guarantee that everything's going to run smoothly. We have a lot of different outside influences that affect the way a deal is put together. So if you see anybody that's out there that's saying they guarantee that there'll be no issues, or they guarantee that the transaction's going to go smoothly. In real estate, because there are so many different people that are involved and so many different steps that have to be done in order to make the transaction close and become complete, no one can give you a guarantee. The only guarantee that a realtor can actually give you is they can guarantee that they will follow the rules and regulations and the code of ethics that have been set forth by the National Association of Realtors. This is why they call themselves a realtor, because they're a member of NAR and they follow that strict code of ethics. In other words, they're honest people with integrity that don't pull any gains. They're going to tell you straightforward what's going on in the transaction, and they're going to keep the lines of communication open so that all during the stage of what's going on, you know what's happening. No matter what the transaction is, no matter how you're going to buy a house, no matter what the situation might be, it's always going to be some kind of a challenge. You're always going to find that you have certain hurdles or certain steps that you have to go through in order to become a homeowner. As a seller, you have certain steps that you have to go through in order to successfully get your house sold. A lot of it is negotiation, so you always want to look for somebody that has the experience and the expertise to work through the transaction as well as through the whole experience of the buying or selling process. Some other things that you need to look for is the preparation that you need to do before this whole process starts. A lot of folks forget that they're going to need some things in order to get a mortgage, or they're going to need to do some things in order to get their hands on the monies that are needed to make a purchase happen. So it's really important that you take the time, you take that pen and pencil, you write down the steps, you write down what you need to prepare, and you put everything together so it's handy so that you can go through the whole process without any kinds of hassles, or hopefully head off any unexpected issues that may come up. My name is Rick Naples, and this has been The Real Estate Show. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.
Riverview Apartments is Bristol's two-time beautification award-winning residence community for adults age 55 and older. They offer 1 or 2 bedroom apartments with modern appliances, air conditioning, wall-to-wall carpet, and tiled floors. Both heat and hot water are included. Riverview also offers a wide range of activity rooms that include a billiard parlor and a spacious community room. It is handicap accessible with safe, secure parking for tenants and ample off-street parking for visitors. 860-940-6757 or riverviewbristol.com.